Hi everybody, this is Nafish. Today we are going to do some data slicing using loc and iloc method, and we're going to use a data frame for that. So first, we have to import the pandas as PD, and then just creating a data frame for our exercise. So we have name, then car, what car these folks use, and then how many miles they drive, 10, 12, 15, and then parking, how much money they pay for the parking. Okay, so these are some random numbers I just put down, and this is just exercise, and there is no meaning in the data. So let's get started. So run this, and then let's visualize the data. I think in the next cell we're asking to visualize the data, so let's say data. So you see we have name, column name, then car, distance, and parking. Okay, so in the quotation, like when we have the dictionary here in the early braces, we have the name, so this is appearing as a column, then we have car, that is the second column, then we have distance and parking. And basically, you can put some other values if you want. You can make it a little larger, the data, but for simplicity, I have 4 columns. Okay, so our first question is how many elements the data has. Okay, so what we have to do is data dot size, and you see 12, so we have 12 elements, and you can see like we have 1 2 3 4 8 and 12. Okay, so we have 12 elements, so let's print it. And then a number of rows and columns of the data frame. So print our data, and then shape. So shape is going to give you the number of rows and columns, and then it says get the column data types and memory use. So okay, so print our data dot info. So info method will give you what's the memory usage for this data frame, as well as the column types. Okay, so let's run it. So for the first print, we have the data dot size. So as you know, we have 12 elements. You can just see it. Then that shape, we have 3 rows and 4 columns. So the first parameter will be row. It's usually row and column. So let me write it down. So first will be the row, and then will be the column. Okay, so you can see we have 1 2 3 rows, and we have 1 2 3 4 columns. Okay, then the info method will give you I have to use round bracket here. Let's run it. Okay, so you can see our column name, and what is the data type, and no null count. So all the there are values, there is no null. Okay, and at the end you can see the memory usage. Okay, so you can see like we have 2 integer columns and 2 object, which is, you can see these are string values, so these are object columns. So we have 2 object columns and 2 integer columns. Okay, okay, so we have to get the first 2 rows using loc and iloc method. So we have the data, first visualize the data. So this is the data, and we have to get this first row and the second row. Okay, so data dot log, let's get the data using the log method first. So data dot log, and then it goes from 0 to 2. Okay, so let's run it. Okay, so although we want to get the first 2 rows, we got 3, so this 2 is inclusive. Okay, so we have to have 0 1 2. So since we want to the first 2, then we can just go 0 to 1. Okay, so run it. Okay, so we got our first 2 rows using the log method. So next is we have to use the iloc. So data dot iloc, and let's do the same. Okay, 0 to 1, but you can see here we just got only 1 row. The reason is like this 1 is not inclusive in the case of iloc. So 0 1 2, if we go up to 2, then it will the last element will be excluded, so it will just show 0 and 1. So we have to go up to 2 here. Okay, and you can see we got the first 2 rows. So the major difference in loc and iloc, when we're doing this slicing, for loc it's inclusive, 1 is inclusive, but for iloc this is not inclusive. So we have to extract 2 minus 1 from this last element. So 2 minus 1 is 1, so 0 and 1. Okay, so if we had to show like all 3 rows, then we had to go on extra, and then you see we got it. So 0 1 2, the last one 3 is not included. Okay, but it is a different case for log. If we just go from 0 to 2, you see we got all the rows. So this is one of the major differences. Okay, so the next one is get the entered data frame using the log and iloc. So we have our data dot log, and then remember I said like the left is the row, so we have the row here, and then we have the column. Okay, okay, so if we just have this colon in the middle, we should get all the values of the data frame. Okay, so let's run it. Okay, you got everything, and the same with iloc as well. We'll run it, And you see, so if we had to get the entire data frame, we can just use column and we can just get our desired data frame. Okay, so next is we need to get extract the elements of the first column using the loc and iloc. So we have to extract the first column, element of the first column, which is the names. Okay, so data dot loc, and then we have to get all the rows, but only the name column. Okay, so we have all the rows, so 0, 1, 2, all rows, but it's going to be up to the name column. So name is nav, saf, and jaf. Okay, so let's write. So you can see we got all the names of the first column. Now, how we're going to get the same with iloc? Copy it and paste it, and we're going to use iloc this time. So same with the rows, but for column, we cannot just specify the column name. We have to specify the index. Okay, so the column, the first column is the column 0. Okay, so we have to put down column 0. Okay, we got the same thing. If we have to get the card information, we have to put like column 1. The indexing starts from 0, so 0, 1. Okay, so put 1, and you get all the card names. Okay, but if we just specify the column name, let's say for log, we have to use, for example, like we want to get the parking information. Okay, so just put parking information there and remove this iloc thing. Okay, so you get all the parking information. So for log, you can just specify the column here, which is parking here, and you get all the values. Okay, so the next one is extract the name and car columns only from the data frame using log and iloc. So we have the data, then we have to extract the column, right? Car and name. Okay, so all the rows, but it will be from car, and it goes, it put log here, so data dot log, and then all rows, but we need just car column and one more column, that is the name column, right? Name. Okay, so put name first, and then car, car. Okay, we should be good now. Okay, so we have name and then car. How about we put car first and name in the second? How will be the sizing? You see, it can go, cause it is just at car and name and then goes to car. If it cannot go in the reverse. Okay, so it's going to name and then car, then run it. Okay, so we got it. Then the next one is we have to get the same information using iloc. So iloc is indexing, so put, so all the rows, but here we have to specify the index. So column name is index 0 and car is index 1. However, remember, for iloc we have to go one extra step, so it will go up 2, but this 2 is not inclusive, so 2 minus 1 is 1. Okay, and put iloc here, and you get the same information. Okay, so these are the differences in log and iloc. You know, if you do more practice, you just get to know.